This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome to Wealth Wednesday, giving you holistic financial and retirement advice from Foster Financial. And joining me today is their Vice President, Caleb Doan. Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. We're kind of matching.
Yeah, there we go.
We got our blue going.
Exactly.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the layoffs, right? The recent layoffs. It's so crazy. I feel like so many companies are going through this. And I think the one that really hit my mind this week was Paramount Global laying off 800 employees after the day after the Super Bowl, where they hit these major numbers. What is happening?
I know. Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's weird because we'll see some information where, unemployment is kind of it's very, very low right now. Inflation is still higher than what people anticipate, but the stock market is still high. So, there's a lot of kind of conflicting information, but we've seen a lot of these kind of news reports come across where companies are laying off kind of big swaths of their employer base or employee base. The one that kind of caught my mind, which is a local company, is Lincoln Financial. I think I saw a couple days ago that they were laying off like 5% of their workforce. And obviously that has huge ramifications on somebody's financial state. And so I thought it'd be helpful to maybe touch on some of the key things to look at, if you were part of that 5%.
Right. Because as you said, the financial impact is there. And the unfortunate thing is it's pretty immediate, right?
Oh, yeah. Right.
And so what should people know? And really the key takeaways if this happens to them?
Yeah. So, the first thing that everyone starts doing is looking for another job, right? Yeah. So, almost nobody needs to be reminded, like, hey, that's number one priority. There's usually the longest lead time in order to get that. So, you're going through an interview process and all of that. So, getting started on that certainly makes sense. I'd say it's probably the next 2 or 3 steps that usually maybe gets pushed under the rug a little bit.
Yeah.
The second one that comes to mind is taking a look at your life insurance.
Okay.
Because most of the time, the vast majority of somebody's life insurance is through a group term insurance policy at their work. And so a lot of employers, Lincoln included, they have a group term policy that just comes with you being an employee.
Right.
And oftentimes it's 100% of your annual salary, that's the life insurance you get, or maybe it's 200% of that or whatever it is. And the company oftentimes pays for that. And then you have the ability to get supplemental insurance on top of that, but again, it's through the company. And so usually when you separate from service, the policy that the company's paying for goes away right away.
Wow.
And the policy that you are paying for through your paycheck, you're no longer getting a paycheck, so you can't pay for that policy anymore.
Yes.
And so that goes away as well. So taking a look at like a term policy that you can have outside of work is usually a really good first step.
Okay, to just have something set up immediately. So not so much people need to have a dual policy. Like if you're still employed, keep that in your employer's life insurance. But in the event something happens, the first thing you need to do is make sure you're protected.
Yeah, I'd take a look at that first. And even if you are still working and you have a policy through your employer, nowadays people are switching jobs on average, every 3 to 5 years. And so a lot of times people are saying, hey, I don't want to have to deal with getting a new policy at every single place I go to, signing up for the new benefits. Instead, I'm just going to have a policy outside of work that can follow me wherever I go. So that can be a good thing to look at. And then the next thing to take a look at would probably be your 401k, your retirement plan. I've seen a lot of scenarios with people switching jobs so often where they'll get 20 years into their career and they have probably 4 delinquent 401ks out there. Oh, wow. And so, that's a good thing to take a look at. Obviously, you're no longer contributing to those old accounts. And most of the time, you're not managing them either. You're not changing the investments. You're not rebalancing it. And so when you separate from service, whether that's a layoff or whether that's you switching roles, you have the ability to do a couple things with that 401k. You could roll it to an IRA with like an outside financial advisor. And again, it can stay at that advisor regardless of what new employer you go to. or you could roll it to your new 401k account with your new employer. So either of those can be good options.
So you kind of mentioned possibly having different 401ks at different employers. So if you were to roll those over, would they all roll into one account with your financial advisor, or does it have to be separated?
Yeah, it can all go into one, which is, that's really nice for the people who like to be kind of organized out there. I know it's something where you might be great at organizing, but maybe the financial side of the organization, you're like, I just don't want to touch that. But yeah, you can take 4 401ks, you could put them all into one IRA, and that way that money can kind of have a cohesive strategy. And that's one of the things when people retire, or even just on their way to retirement, they really like to get organized with that and say, hey, I want all this under one roof with one cohesive strategy, all working towards my goal of retirement.
Yeah, and this is good, I think, for anyone who's employed to just keep at top of mind, to have your paperwork, your account, and your financial understanding in order.
Right.
So that in the event that a layoff happens, unfortunately, because it's unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
You have more control over your options. And so for everyone right now, what is it that they can do? Should they try to gain access to all their accounts, create a folder? You know, how can people really just try to manage the process right now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, usually there's like an employee benefits website that you can kind of go on and you can view everything that you had access to. So you can see your 401k, you can see your life insurance, your supplemental life insurance. And a lot of times that stuff has gone away, at least the life insurance piece, if you've separated from service. So getting that stuff organized, and then just if you don't know exactly what to do, go and talk to somebody and see, hey, what are going to be the best next steps for my plan personally, because it's a huge transition, and so being able to make the right steps there can be really helpful.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Caleb. You have been helpful.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes. Foster Financial offers complimentary consultations to help assess your holistic financial strategy. Their number is listed below, so give them a call, and we'll be right back. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.